Welcome to the design guide for the new HTML interstitial and HTML interstitial with video ad units. We'll start by previewing this ad unit, and as you can see, it's designed to act as a lightbox or overlay on top of your existing page content. And when the user either waits for a countdown timer to complete or clicks the X button, they will then be able to access the content underneath the site. Alternatively, if we preview it again, if they click anywhere inside the ad unit itself, they will go to whatever click-through URL or URLs you have set here. So to build this ad, very straightforward. Starting with step one, media. Your media container, you can make this image any size and shape you like. You'll do that down here in step 4 settings. The first two options are to set the media container width and media container height. We happen to have made this 500 by 560, and then we've uploaded an image that is 500 by 560 as well. And as always, you can use JPEGs, PNGs, GIFs, or SWF files. In the instance that you're using an SWF instead of an image, make sure you come down here to Media 2 and upload the optional media container failover image. This basically means that when the interstitial appears on any desktop or Flash compatible browser, it'll render and run that SWF file. When that interstitial appears on or is viewed from an iPad, an iPhone, or any other non-Flash compatible device, the backup image will show instead of the SWF file. If you've uploaded an image here, you don't need to worry about the backup here. The next media option is your close button image. Again, any size you like, JPEG, PNG, or GIF. We happen to have a default in here that's 50 by 50 pixels, but you can certainly upload your own image if you want to use that for a close button. And then finally at the bottom, you have the option to upload video on top of the image if you like. As always, you're going to use an MP4 file. And as always, the site we recommend here for video converting is called video.online-convert.com/convert-to-MP4. This is a free online converter. You don't need to download anything. You'll simply come here, browse your hard drive for your file. Even if you already have an MP4 file, it's usually a best practice to run it through here just to make it compatible 100% with the Impact Engine platform. You'll just upload your file here, click convert, and that'll spit you out a new downloadable version that is an MP4 format. So coming back here to your ad unit, the next step is for your colors. You can adjust the background mask. Right now it's set to black. If we wanted to edit that, for instance, make it a red hue instead of black, we could do that. And now when we preview, you see the background overlay is slightly translucent, but in a red hue instead of black/gray. So we'll switch that back to black here. Next up is your countdown timer. You can make that colored white, black, anything you want. Just depends on really what you've set this background to and what works best color-wise. And then finally, you've got your custom hit area test mode color. For click-through URLs, you can have up to 4 different click-through URLs and hit areas on the ad. You'll configure those here. And now finally, your custom settings. As we went over already, your media container width and height are configurable by you. You'll set that here and then upload an image or SWF that corresponds to this height and width. Next, you have the media container vertical offset. The reason there's only a vertical offset and not horizontal is because this ad is always going to be centered on the page. And really all you're playing with here is how far down off the top of the browser. Right now it's 200 pixels down. If we wanted to make it closer to the top of the screen, we could adjust that to say only give it a 50 pixel offset. And when we preview it, it's going to be much closer to the top of the browser window. Next up, you've got your background mask opacity. So right now we have it set to black and at a 50% opacity. If we wanted to make it less opaque, let's say we only wanted to make it 20% opaque, you're going to see the overlay is a lot lighter. Conversely, if you wanted to make it really dark, you could go all the way up to 100% by putting the number 1 in here. And when we preview it, the background is going to be Let's go up to 0.9. Now the background is almost completely masked in that case. But usually you want to leave this at about 50%. That's kind of best practices. As always, auto expand on initial render. I would say 100% of the time you're going to leave this as yes, because if you set it to no, the ad's never going to show up in the first place. So you have to have it auto expand. Now you can limit the number of times it auto expands for each user so that when a user first comes to your home page in the morning, you have it automatically is going to show the interstitial. But if, for instance, you didn't want that to show up again, if they revisited your page within the next 24 hours, you can do that. If they revisited the home page in the same session or any time that day, the interstitial would not pop up. In that case, it would wait for a whole day to pass, and then the cookie would be cleared. It would do it a second time and drop a fresh cookie. So that is up to you to set that, probably a parameter you're going to want to consider. Do you want to delay on the auto expand? If so, right now we have it at 0.1, so it's almost instantaneous. That's typically, you're going to want to keep that as fast as possible. The countdown timer itself, would you like the ad to basically run through this countdown timer and then automatically close if the user just sits and doesn't take any action? If you don't want that there, you just take it away. And in that case, when the ad previews, it'll just sit there until, at this point, I finally close it or click through. If you do want the countdown timer, you can set that to be any time you like. Usually about 15 seconds is sort of best practice on that. And now we've got a 15-second countdown timer where the ad will automatically disappear after 15 seconds if I don't take action. Now, where do you want that countdown timer to be positioned relative to the upper left-hand corner of your image? You can use both positive and negative numbers. So in this instance, if I wanted it to be pushed farther to the right, I could say make it 25 pixels to the right. And right now we have a -30 offset. That means it's actually going above. So for instance, if I have it at 0, 0, it's just going to justify itself in the upper left-hand corner here of the ad. You can see the countdown timer here. If you wanted it to go up and to the left, you'd make your horizontal offset negative, would move it up above, a positive would move it down. So in this instance, let's make it -30. Well, that's actually going to move it to the left, sorry, horizontally. Let's make it -100, and then we'll move it up above the ad by making it -35. So as we preview here, negatives move it up and to the left, positives would move it down and to the right. So if you wanted, for instance, this to go below the ad unit, we would switch these back to positive. So let's make the horizontal offset 100 pixels to the right, and let's make it 580 pixels down. So again, you can use both negative and positive, and now we're down below the ad with our countdown timer. The same thing is going to apply to the close button here. We'll show you. So your close button, you set the height and width. Right now it's 50 by 50. If you wanted it something different, you can set that and upload your own image here. Likewise, the horizontal offset, any positive numbers are going to move that to the right of the left edge of your ad. Any positive numbers vertically are going to move it down. So right now we wanted this close button to be above the ad unit, so you'll see it's at -55 and 450 to the right. If we wanted to move that all the way down below the ad, we'd switch the vertical offset to be positive. So again, let's make this 600 pixels down, or 600 pixels vertically, moves it all the way down here and below the ad. So again, that's up to you at your discretion. Next up, including video player. All you have to do to include that is switch this to yes. And now we're going to have a video player that's overlaid on top of the image. And here's our video player now playing on top of the ad. You can set that to be any height and width you like. It happens to be 370 by 200. If we wanted to make it a lot taller, let's make it 370 by 300. And then you've got your, again, horizontal and vertical offsets. These are from the left edge of the expanded container. And if we wanted it to be 65 to the right, let's make it only 250 pixels from the top. That will adjust the size and the offset of that video container. And then always you have the ability to have the video auto start when the ad plays, or as opposed to having the user click play. So we'll set that to no. And then the audio as well. If you wanted them to have to click on both the audio and the video, what that'll do is just put a play button here, and nothing's going to happen until I manually click on play. And then I'd also manually have to turn on the volume to hear it. So we'll go ahead and turn the video player off. Again, show you the rest of the settings. Finally, under the video, you've got your custom hit areas. You're almost always going to have at least one custom hit area for a click-through. Typically, you're going to set hit area 1 to be the exact height and width of your expanded container, in this instance, or of our media container, which is 500 by 560. That means I also have a horizontal and vertical offset. By setting it to the exact height and width, I'd set my offset to 0 so it overlays perfectly on my image. You can then stack any hit areas you want additionally on top of that. So hit area 1's at the bottom, followed by hit area 2, 3, and 4 stacked on top. The higher the hit area, the more it takes precedence. So if I wanted to turn on hit area number 2, I say yes. I can make this, for instance, 150 by 150 pixels high, and then let's offset it 200 pixels to the right and 30 pixels down from the top. And again, I could do custom hit area 3 height width offset, custom hit area 4 height width offset, and at the bottom, you always want to turn on your testing mode just to make sure your hit areas are lined up correctly. So right now I have hit area 1 taking up the whole background, hit area 2 on top here. The one thing to note is if you're using a video player, hit area 1 is going to go behind that video player. Hit areas 2, 3, and 4 are stacked on top of the video. That allows you to make the video area clickable as well if you like. So that's it for the template. As always, if you have questions, call us at 866-467-2289.